I ignored him. Every warning, every sign. I thought it was just his stubbornness, just another dramatic moment from a dog who wanted attention. But that one night I realized too late that loyalty isn't just love, it's a warning. Max, my golden retriever, had always been there for me. He waited at the door when I came home late, tail wagging like I was the most important person in the world. He curled up by my feet when I worked long hours. He watched me like I was his entire universe. But lately I was too busy to notice him, too distracted, too focused on a business deal that could change my life. I had invested nearly everything into a startup partnership, savings, loans, even borrowed money from a friend. If this contract went through, I'd be secure for years. If it failed, I'd lose almost everything. That pressure consumed me. So when Max started acting strange that night, barking nonstop, pacing the hallway, scratching near the garage door, I snapped. "Max, stop it, I'm busy," I yelled without even looking at him. He froze, and then he just stared at me, not angry, not scared, just urgent, like he was trying to tell me something I refused to hear. Outside, rain pounded against the windows. Thunder rolled across the sky. Lightning flashed briefly, illuminating his anxious face. He ran toward the garage again, barking louder this time. I should have followed him. I should have trusted him. But instead, I turned my attention back to my laptop screen where emails were piling up, urgent. Insurance confirmation needed, contract revision attached, final approval pending. My heart was racing over business decisions while the real emergency was unfolding just feet away. Then I smelled it, smoke, at first faint, then stronger. I stood up slowly, confused. Another lightning strike lit up the room, and that's when I saw it. A flicker of orange reflection on the wall behind me. I turned toward the garage door and my stomach dropped. Flames, small at first but spreading fast along the wiring near my workbench. Sparks shot upward, something popped loudly. Max was outside the garage window now, pawing desperately at the glass, barking with a sound I had never heard before, not playful, not protective, terrified. He had been trying to warn me. I grabbed the fire extinguisher from under the sink and rushed toward the flames, but the fire had already crawled along the dry wood panels. Smoke thickened quickly, burning my eyes and throat. My laptop screen flickered and died. Years of work, contracts, financial projections gone in seconds. I managed to contain part of the fire before the firefighters arrived, but the damage was devastating. The garage was destroyed, my home office was ruined, equipment melted, documents burned. I stood outside in the rain afterward, soaked, shaking, watching smoke rise into the dark sky, and Max. He pressed against my leg, trembling, but he didn't leave my side. Not once. The next morning, reality hit harder than the fire had. My insurance provider questioned the wiring setup. A neighbor mentioned something that made my chest tighten. "Did you install that electrical line yourself? Because if it wasn't licensed," my stomach dropped again. I had hired someone cheap months ago to redo part of the garage wiring to save money. No permits, no official inspection. If that caused the fire, I could face massive financial penalties, maybe even legal consequences. My business partner called, concerned about delays. Investors wanted reassurance. Everything I had built felt like it was collapsing at once. And through it all, Max followed me quietly, watching me with those same knowing eyes. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw him staring at me before the fire, pleading, warning me. I kept replaying the moment I yelled at him, the way he froze, the way he still tried again anyway. Loyalty without ego, love without resentment. He could have hidden when the fire started. He could have run, but he stayed and tried to pull me out. Days passed. Insurance investigators came and went. The wiring became the main focus. Something about it didn't add up. One investigator mentioned that the burn pattern looked unusual, almost deliberate. That word stuck with me, deliberate. A week later, while cleaning debris from the garage wall, I found something that made my hands go cold. Behind a partially burned panel were extra wires, thin, poorly connected, clearly not part of the original installation. They looked tampered with, intentionally weakened. My heart started pounding. Someone had accessed my garage recently. Then it hit me, a former subcontractor I had fired months ago after a payment dispute. He still had temporary access to the property during renovations. I checked old security footage from a small outdoor camera I rarely reviewed. There it was, a blurry figure entering the side of the garage 2 nights before the fire during heavy rain. My chest tightened. The wiring wasn't just faulty. It had been sabotaged, and suddenly everything made sense. Max hadn't just sensed smoke. He had been reacting before the flames even started, probably hearing the faint electrical buzzing, smelling something unusual long before I did. He was alert when I was distracted. He was vigilant when I was obsessed. He was protecting me while I was protecting paperwork. The police were contacted. An investigation opened. The evidence eventually pointed clearly toward sabotage, likely intended to trigger insurance payout complications or revenge damage. The legal situation shifted in my favor. The insurance claim stabilized. My business contract, though delayed, survived. Financial disaster was narrowly avoided, but the lesson cut deeper than any legal case ever could. I had ignored the one being in my life who had never ignored me. Max didn't understand contracts. He didn't care about money. He didn't know what an insurance policy was, but he knew something was wrong, and he tried to tell me the only way he could, barking, pacing, insisting. From that day forward, I changed. I slowed down. I paid attention. When he barked at night, I checked. When he stared at something, I investigated. When he seemed uneasy, I listened, because loyalty like that is rare. It doesn't come with conditions. It doesn't demand recognition. It just acts. Weeks later, when the garage was finally repaired and life started returning to normal, I sat on the porch at sunset with Max resting his head on my knee. The sky was calm. No thunder, no smoke, just quiet peace. I ran my fingers through his fur and whispered, "I'm sorry I didn't listen." His tail thumped gently against the wooden boards like he had already forgiven me long ago. And that's when I understood something I will never forget. Sometimes the ones who love us see the danger long before we do. Sometimes the warning doesn't come in emails or phone calls. Sometimes it comes with pause, with anxious eyes, with persistent barking we find annoying. And if we ignore it, if we silence it, sometimes it's too late. I was lucky. Lucky the fire didn't spread further. Lucky the sabotage was discovered. Lucky my business survived. But more than anything, I was lucky to have a dog who refused to give up on me even when I gave up on listening. Max didn't just save my home. He saved my future. He saved my perspective. And he taught me that loyalty isn't just standing beside someone when things go right, it's fighting for them when they refuse to see the danger ahead. So if someone or something in your life is trying to warn you, don't brush it off. Don't assume you know better, because sometimes the voice you ignore today is the one that could save you tomorrow.